What if I told you that 89% of seniors would rather stay in their own homes than move to a nursing facility, yet most families think nursing homes are their only option when care becomes necessary? You know what breaks my heart? Right now, as you're watching this video, there's probably a family somewhere having the conversation. You know the one I'm talking about. The one where adult children sit around a kitchen table, voices heavy with guilt and worry, trying to figure out what to do about mom or dad. The conversation that usually ends with someone saying, "I guess we need to start looking at nursing homes." And here's the thing that makes me angry, not at you, but at a system that has failed our families. Right now, thousands of families just like yours are facing what feels like an impossible choice. Sacrifice your loved one's independence for their safety, or risk their well-being by trying to manage everything alone. You're told these are your only two options. Stay home and struggle, or give up everything that makes them feel like themselves. But here's what the senior care industry doesn't want you to know, what they don't advertise because it doesn't fill their facilities. There are 5 incredible alternatives that preserve both dignity and security. Real options that let your parent wake up feeling like themselves, not like a patient. In the next 19 minutes, I'm going to reveal 5 practical alternatives to nursing homes that most families never even know exist, including one option that can actually cost less than traditional facilities while providing better, more personalized care. These aren't pipe dreams or wishful thinking. These are real solutions that real families are using right now to give their loved ones the life they deserve. If you believe every senior deserves to age with dignity and choice, comment "Dignity First" below. And if you're new to Elderly Health Central, hit that subscribe button, because we're building a community of families who refuse to accept good enough when it comes to senior care. We're here for the families who believe there has to be a better way, and you know what? There absolutely is. Let's start with the first alternative that's changing everything for families across the country. Imagine this: your parent wakes up tomorrow morning in their own bedroom, surrounded by photos of grandchildren they've watched grow up, family memories covering every surface, and that favorite quilt they've had for 30 years. At 9 a.m., a trained caregiver arrives, not a stranger, but someone who's become part of the family routine. They help with morning medications, prepare a nutritious breakfast, maybe even chat about the weather or last night's news. Then, your parent spends the afternoon exactly how they want to, reading in their favorite chair by the window, tending to those plants they've nurtured for years, or calling their sister like they've done every Tuesday for decades. This is professional in-home care, and it's probably nothing like what you're picturing. This isn't about having a babysitter for your parent. Professional in-home care brings skilled assistance directly to your loved one's familiar environment. We're talking about services that range from a few hours of companionship and light housekeeping all the way up to 24/7 medical care with registered nurses. The key difference that families love? Your parent remains in complete control of their daily routine, their space, and their choices. They decide when to wake up, what to eat for breakfast, which chair to sit in, and whether they want to spend the day gardening or watching old movies. Now, here's where most families get stuck, and I want to clear this up right now. The biggest myth circulating out there? That in-home care is prohibitively expensive, that it's only for wealthy families. I hear this all the time, and it makes me frustrated because it's keeping families from exploring an option that could change everything. Many families automatically assume it costs more than nursing homes, but here's the reality. Quality in-home care often runs between $3,000 and $5,000 per month compared to $6,000 to $8,000 for nursing facilities. And here's what gets even better: services like Medicare, Medicaid, and long-term care insurance frequently cover significant portions of the cost. You might be paying far less out of pocket than you think. So where do you start? First, you need to assess actual needs versus assumed needs. This is huge. Does your loved one actually need help with bathing and medication management, or do they need full medical supervision around the clock? There's a massive difference, and it affects everything from cost to the type of caregiver you need. Many families start small, maybe 10 to 15 hours per week, and then adjust based on comfort level and actual necessity. When you're ready to move forward, interview multiple agencies, ask for references from families who've used their services, and here's the non-negotiable part: insist on meeting potential caregivers before making any decisions. Chemistry matters when someone's coming into your parents' most personal space. In-home care works beautifully for seniors who treasure their independence above everything else, but what about those who are craving social interaction and community? What about your parent who lights up around other people but still wants to come home to their own bed every night? That's where our second alternative becomes an absolute game changer. Picture this completely different scenario: your parents spending their mornings in a vibrant center that feels more like a community club than anything medical. They're participating in art therapy, creating something beautiful with their hands. They're enjoying chef-prepared meals that actually taste good, sitting around tables with new friends, laughing during chair exercises that don't feel like physical therapy. At 4 p.m., they're coming home energized and socially fulfilled, ready to enjoy their evening routine in their own space, maybe calling you to tell you about the interesting conversation they had with someone new, or the painting they started. This is what adult day programs look like today, and they're bridging the gap between complete independence and full-time supervision brilliantly. These aren't daycare centers for seniors. I need to be clear about that because the name is misleading. These are sophisticated programs offering cognitive stimulation, physical therapy, medical monitoring, and genuine social connections. Participants maintain their home base, their independence, their evening and weekend routines, while receiving structured support during the hours when they're most active and engaged. The misconception that drives me crazy is when people dismiss day programs as babysitting for seniors. This couldn't be further from reality, and it's doing a disservice to both the programs and the families who could benefit from them. Modern adult day centers employ registered nurses, licensed therapists, and professional activity coordinators. They provide medical oversight, medication management, nutritious meals, and evidence-based activities specifically designed to slow cognitive decline and improve quality of life. We're talking about real medical and therapeutic intervention happening in social, engaging environments. When you're evaluating programs, and please, do this in person. Visit during active hours, not just during their scheduled tours. You want to see what actually happens when the day is in full swing. Watch how staff interact with participants. Are they treating adults as capable individuals with opinions and preferences, or are they talking down to them like children? Quality programs offer varied activities that engage different interests and abilities. They maintain low staff-to-participant ratios, ideally 1:6 or better. And they provide transportation services so you're not worrying about getting your parent there safely. Ask about trial periods because many programs will let your loved one try it for a week or two before committing. Also ask about flexible scheduling options, because not every senior wants or needs the same level of daily programming. Day programs excel for socially minded seniors who thrive around other people, but what about those who want independence with built-in security? What about your parent who's active and capable but tired of worrying about home maintenance, or who wants the option of community when they want it but privacy when they need it? Our third alternative offers the perfect balance of autonomy and peace of mind. Here's a scenario that might surprise you with how normal it looks. Your parent lives in their own apartment with a full kitchen where they can cook their favorite meals whenever they want, a private entrance so they can come and go without checking in with anyone, and enough personal space for all those cherished belongings that make a place feel like home. When they want company, a short walk brings them to community dining rooms where they can enjoy meals with neighbors, fitness centers designed for their age group, or hobby groups where they can pursue interests with people who share their passions. When they want solitude, when they need quiet time or just want to be alone with their thoughts, they simply return to their private sanctuary. Independent living communities are designed for active seniors who can manage their own personal care but want freedom from the responsibilities that come with home ownership. No more worrying about roof repairs, yard work, snow removal, or whether they remembered to lock all the doors. These environments offer the best of both worlds: private residences within supportive communities. Here's what's important to understand: no medical care is provided in independent living. This isn't about medical necessity, this is about lifestyle enhancement, about choosing community and convenience over the isolation and maintenance burdens that can come with aging in a large family home. The confusion I see constantly is families mixing up independent living with assisted living or nursing care. They're completely different things. Independent living residents are self-sufficient adults who are choosing community amenities over the responsibilities of home ownership. There's no loss of autonomy here. Residents come and go freely, they maintain their own schedules, they make their own decisions about daily activities, meals, social engagement, everything. Think of it like choosing to live in an apartment building instead of owning a house, except this apartment building is designed specifically with seniors in mind. When you're evaluating communities for your parent, focus on resident demographics and activity quality rather than getting distracted by fancy amenities that look impressive but might not matter day to day. Can your parent actually see themselves befriending the current residents? Do they seem like people your parent would choose to spend time with? Are the activities varied and intellectually stimulating, or do they feel dumbed down? Ask about pet policies if that matters to your family, guest accommodations for when family visits, and here's a crucial question: what happens if care needs change over time? The best communities offer graduated care options on the same campus, so if your parents' needs increase, they don't have to leave the community they've grown to love. Independent living works wonderfully for active seniors who want community without giving up privacy, but what about families who want to stay closely connected while still respecting boundaries? What about situations where the family wants to be nearby but not intrusive? Our fourth alternative might surprise you with its flexibility and the creative solutions families are finding. This next alternative is getting families really excited because it solves so many problems at once. Picture your parent living in a beautifully designed small home in your backyard. Maybe it's a converted garage apartment with its own entrance, or the upstairs of a duplex you purchased together, or even a tiny home that's been customized for aging in place. Your parent has complete privacy and independence, their own space that feels entirely theirs, while you have peace of mind knowing that help is just steps away if it's ever needed. Accessory dwelling units, or ADUs, and proximity living arrangements are allowing families to provide support without anyone having to sacrifice their autonomy. We're talking about solutions that range from tiny homes on family property to duplexes where different generations live side by side but separately. The key to making this work is creating truly separate living spaces that maintain everyone's independence while enabling natural, non-intrusive support when it's wanted or needed. The biggest fear I hear from families considering this option is about loss of privacy and potential family conflict. Will we drive each other crazy? Will boundaries get blurred? Will it feel like we're all moving backward instead of forward? But here's what successful families have learned: proximity living requires clear boundaries, separate entrances, and honest communication about expectations from the very beginning. This isn't about your parent moving back in with you or you taking care of them like a child. This is about creating mutually beneficial living arrangements where everyone maintains their adult independence while having the security of family nearby. Before you start dreaming about possibilities, you need to research local zoning laws because this is where families can run into unexpected obstacles. Many areas are now encouraging ADUs as solutions for housing shortages and aging populations, but they often have specific requirements about size, utilities, parking, and approval processes. Consider design elements that matter for long-term success: separate entrances so everyone can come and go independently, soundproofing so normal living doesn't disturb anyone, and accessibility features that might become important over time. Financial arrangements need to be clearly documented from the start: who owns what property, how insurance coverage works, how ongoing expenses like utilities and maintenance are handled. Some families choose to buy adjacent properties or houses on the same street instead of sharing property, which gives you proximity without shared ownership complexities. Proximity living works best for families with strong communication skills and clear expectations, but what about seniors who need more support than family can realistically provide? yet still want more choice and control than traditional facilities offer? What about situations where the family wants professional care but in a setting that feels more like home than an institution? Our final alternative addresses exactly that need. Our final alternative represents what I think is the future of senior care, and when you see what this looks like, you're going to understand why families are choosing this over traditional nursing facilities. Picture your parent living in a beautiful home with just 5 other residents, each person with their own private bedroom but sharing common areas that feel like family spaces. A real kitchen where meals are prepared fresh, a living room with comfortable furniture where people actually want to spend time, maybe a garden where residents can sit outside or even help with planting. A live-in caregiver provides assistance with daily needs like medication management, meal preparation, and personal care, but they're doing it while maintaining the warmth and flexibility of a home environment rather than the institutional feeling of a large facility. Small-scale assisted living represents the evolution of senior care. It's what happens when you combine professional support with genuinely home-like environments. These facilities typically house 6 to 8 residents in converted homes or purpose-built small facilities that are designed to feel residential, not medical. Staff provide medication management, meal preparation, and personal care assistance while preserving dignity, choice, and individual schedules. Residents can wake up when they want to, eat meals when they're hungry, and maintain routines that feel natural to them. The misconception that frustrates me here is when people assume smaller means lower quality or less professional care. The opposite is often true. Small-scale facilities typically offer much higher staff-to-resident ratios, more personalized attention, and greater flexibility than large institutions with hundreds of residents. Residents often develop genuine relationships with their caregivers and each other, creating extended family dynamics that you just can't replicate in a facility with 200 people. When you're looking at small homes, you want to find places that feel like homes, not mini institutions. Quality indicators include consistent staffing. Are you seeing the same caring faces, or is there constant turnover? Look for residents who seem genuinely content, not just compliant. Pay attention to whether operators encourage family involvement or make you feel like you're intruding. Ask about daily routines, and this is important. Do residents wake up and eat on their own schedules, or does everyone follow institutional timing? The best small homes balance necessary structure with personal choice, and you should be able to feel the difference when you walk through the door. These 5 alternatives prove that nursing homes don't have to be inevitable. They're not your only option, and they're definitely not your best option for many families. But choosing the right path requires more than just knowing your options exist. It requires understanding what independence and dignity actually mean to your family, and that's something only you and your loved one can determine together. I know this decision feels overwhelming. Right now, you're probably sitting there trying to process everything we've talked about, and your mind is spinning with questions and what-ifs. You're trying to balance your parents' safety with their independence, your peace of mind with their autonomy, and it feels like an impossible equation to solve. Maybe you're feeling guilty for even exploring these alternatives, wondering if you should just handle everything yourself, wondering if you're somehow failing as a son or daughter because you can't do it all alone. Let me tell you something, and I need you to really hear this. That guilt you're feeling? It's not serving anyone, especially not your parent. The fact that you're here, watching this video, researching options, trying to find the best possible solution, that's not failure. That's love. That's being the kind of child who cares enough to explore every possibility before making a decision that will affect someone you love so deeply. Here's what I want you to remember, and I want you to write this down if you need to. Giving your loved one choices isn't about avoiding difficult decisions, it's about honoring their life story. Think about who your parent has been their entire life. Have they been someone who made their own decisions? Someone who valued independence? Someone who created their own path? Each alternative we've discussed today puts your family member back in the driver's seat of their own life. That's not just care, that's love in action. That's treating them like the capable adult they've been for 8 decades, not like a problem that needs to be managed. Don't wait for a crisis to explore these options. I cannot stress this enough. Don't wait until there's an emergency, until someone falls, until there's a hospitalization that forces your hand. Start conversations today, while you can have them calmly and thoughtfully. Ask your loved one what independence means to them. What would make them feel most secure while maintaining their dignity? What matters most to them about how they spend their days? Their answers might surprise you, and they will definitely guide you toward the best choice for your unique situation. Remember, choosing alternatives to traditional nursing home care isn't about being perfect, it's about being intentional. Your loved one spent decades making thoughtful decisions about their career, their family, their home, their life. They raised children, built relationships, contributed to their community. Now it's time to make thoughtful decisions about their care with that same respect and consideration they deserve. They didn't stop being a whole person just because they need some help. They deserve choices that honor who they are, not just what they need. So let's take a step back and think about what we've covered together today. We explored 5 powerful alternatives to nursing homes that can completely change how your family approaches senior care. Professional in-home care for personalized support that keeps your loved one in control of their own space and routine. Adult day programs for social engagement that bring community and stimulation while preserving evening independence. Independent living communities for active lifestyles where privacy meets convenience and security. Accessory dwelling units and family proximity living that keep generations connected while respecting everyone's autonomy. And small-scale assisted living for comprehensive care in genuinely home-like settings that feel nothing like institutions. Each of these options puts dignity and choice at the center of care, and that's what makes all the difference. Now I want to hear from you, because this conversation doesn't end here. Which of these alternatives resonates most with your family's situation? Maybe you're watching this and thinking, that's exactly what my mom would want, or, I never knew that option existed. Have you tried any of these approaches? Have you visited an adult day program or looked into in-home care? Have you considered an ADU or toured a small assisted living home? Share your experience in the comments below, because here's what I know, your story might be exactly what another family needs to hear to make their decision. Someone watching this video might be stuck, feeling like they're out of options, and your comment about how your dad thrived in independent living or how your mom found community in day programs could be the insight that changes everything for them. And if you're still in the research phase, tell us where you are in this journey. Are you just starting to think about alternatives? Are you feeling overwhelmed by choices? Are you dealing with a parent who's resistant to change? This community understands what you're going through, and sometimes just knowing you're not alone makes all the difference. If this video opened your eyes to possibilities you didn't know existed, if it gave you hope when you were feeling stuck, please give it a thumbs up. It helps other families find this information when they need it most. And subscribe to Elderly Health Central because we're building something important here. A community of families who believe seniors deserve better than just getting by. We're here to provide practical, respectful guidance for families navigating these decisions together, and we're not going anywhere. I'm planning our next video on the financial aspects of these alternatives because I know cost is a huge concern for most families. We'll talk about insurance coverage, what Medicare and Medicaid actually pay for, and how to budget for these options. We'll also dive into some surprising ways these alternatives can actually save you money compared to traditional nursing home care. Remember, every senior deserves to age with dignity and choice. Your loved one isn't a burden to be managed, they're a person with preferences, feelings, and the right to have a say in their own life. Thank you for watching, thank you for caring enough to research alternatives, and thank you for being the kind of family member who believes there has to be a better way. I'll see you in the next video, and until then, keep advocating for the seniors you love.